Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV2. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Gordon Strachan well aware of the stakes for Scotland. Celtic duo in race for fitness. Glasgow City suffer in Kazakhstan. Yeah, just a few of the talking points. Alan Ruff and myself, Peter Martin, will be discussing on the eve of a huge game for Scotland at home against Slovakia. I'm delighted to say, sitting alongside Alan is our bootroom guest, as ever on a Wednesday night, Barry Ferguson, the former Rangers and Scotland captain as well. Who better to get the thing going? And of course, I think when you look at the back pages of the morning papers, that everyone is just willing us to get the result. Of course, interesting back page headline, the record. Some of the players saying Gordon Strachan must stay even if we don't make it. There's also Mixu Patalainen and George Costa in the frame for the Killie job apparently, and Jozo Simonovic and Mikael Lustig battling to be fit for Bayern. The Sun, you don't need me to win. This is Scott Brown saying you can do it without me in the middle of the park. And there's also a mention there of Stefan Effenberg being linked with the Kilmarnock job since the departure of Lee McCulloch. The Daily Mail, and you can see Sean Maloney just talking about having to call time on his career. And also there's just a mention that Sam Allardyce could be contemplating suing the FA over the dismissal from the England job. So there's a few of the back pages, lots to talk about. I think a momentous night tonight, Ruffy, because we found out that the man sitting next to you is going back to see Scotland. It's been a while. We're delighted. You're going to go as a fan. How are you feeling about it?
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it, going with a few friends. It's been a long time since I've been back at Hampden watching as a fan. But listen, I always watched them on TV, hoping that they would do well. But I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow night. A massive game. Got to win it. I'm not even looking ahead to Sunday. I'm just thinking about the game tomorrow night. So I can't wait. I'm hopeful the atmosphere is going to be electric. So can't wait for it.
Yeah, are you a good fan? Are you able to sit and watch it with a bit of calmness, or are you every inch the moaner you were in the middle of the park?
I'll be kicking every ball. That's the type of fan. Even when I was injured and when I was playing, I couldn't even go and watch. I'd struggle. I'd be up and down or going down into the rooms or whatever to stay away from it. And I'll probably be doing the same thing. But I'm desperate for them to win. They've had a good few games over the last while, and as I says, if Hampden's buzzing tomorrow night, I can only see one thing happening, that's us getting the win. Yeah,
and again, it's great parallels between what's at stake now and that campaign you were involved in as well. You know, it was win or bust almost with the games that we're going through.
That's a great thing. The players and the coaching staff and obviously the manager know what's got to happen tomorrow night. It's not like if you're halfway through a campaign or the start of a campaign that you can maybe afford to drop a couple of points. They know tomorrow night they need to go out there. I don't care how they play. I don't care if it's an average performance. Just get the 3 points, and if they play well, that's a bonus for me.
Yeah, I think the good bonus for you as well is you're not sitting next to Ruffy, because when I sit next to him, he ruins it for me. Just moans about every stray pass, moans about everything, because obviously if you're sitting next to somebody who's actually been to 3 World Cups, you know how to annoy the life out of you. You know all your medals, and there's Bonzo there. He's been to the World Cups, and he moans. You moan as a fan.
No, because you when you become a fan, you know, you just want to be there. You know, you want to be part of it, and you can see when things aren't going well, the disappointment. Sometimes it's looking that way, but I hope it won't be tomorrow night. I think, as Barry said, right for the very, very start, you know, there will be an atmosphere that will be fantastic. I don't know who the boy is that's on the tannoy, but he certainly gets them going, you know, even right at the kick-off. You know, he says something, doesn't he? Yeah. I can't remember what it is, but he gets the whole place going. And but it's up to the players. It's up to the players first 10, 15 minutes to keep that roar going, because, and I know a lot of people say, oh, these players are all experienced, and even when it's at Parkhead, they say, oh, the Milan players have been there and have done it and everything. They fans can make enough noise. Barry, when you're on that park, it doesn't matter who you are, you know, if they can really lift the place, you know, it gives you the incentive, you know, to be confident enough to go and win the game. And they maybe just sit back a wee bit and go, well, wait a wee minute here. But again, it's the players that have got to make great chances, shots at goal, corners, free kicks, anything that's going our way in the first 10, 15 minutes.
Well, just picking up on that point, you mentioned that about the players. You know, you were playing against Italy and the noise was incredible.
I mean, I'd mentioned we were playing Italy. I've played at Hampden a number of times, and even going back to Old Firm Cup finals. That day against Italy, the atmosphere was the best I've ever experienced. And you're actually looking at players like Buffon, Pirlo, Gattuso. You're actually looking in their eyes and you're thinking, what's all this about? And that can be the case tomorrow for Slovakia. When that place, it's not the greatest for atmosphere, I've got to be honest with it, because you're so far behind the goals. I don't like, that's the only thing that annoys me about Hampden. But listen, the fans certainly make a difference when they get behind the team. And is it so cliche? There's certainly a 12th man that can help, because these guys have maybe not experienced this sort of atmosphere.
Yeah, of course, you're one of a number of former players that will be casting their eye over this one, wondering, as a fan, if Gordon Strachan and the players can get there. Sean Maloney is one man in particular, former Scotland internationalist, who'll be looking on at this big match against Slovakia.
I think I'd be really interested to see how Scotland set up. It was the same in the last two matches, particularly the Lithuania game. So you watch it. But I think generally in this game, I think I'd just worry about the result. As a fan, you just want them to win the match. But it's easy us saying that. It's how you get there that's the hard part.
Yeah, listen, I couldn't care if it came off a pigeon, Ruffy, and went into the back of the net. But I'm really curious to see your insight into who you think he's actually going to select and who you would like to see selected. There is a difference. So we've picked what we think would be the possible, probable lineup, and tinkered with it, changed it, tweaked it, because there's been so many people suggesting things. Then you listen to the manager and you get a little insight. So from your perspective,
I think the way Gordon Strachan is, it's obviously the midfield's a talking point with Scott Brown and Armstrong. They're massive. They're going to be a massive miss, there's no doubt. There's two influential players in that midfield. So for me, there's only one guy can go in and replace Scott Brown, and that's Dan Fletcher. For me, the guy's played at the highest level. He knows what it's all about to captain his country. He's played in plenty of high pressure games, and this is certainly a high pressure game because they know they've got to go out and win. So he'll certainly, for me, go in and play in place of Scott Brown. And what I think Gordon Strachan will do, it'll be MacArthur and Barry Bannon. But it's different from what I would play.
Yeah, well, give us who you would play in the middle of the park.
I would play Fletcher, and do you know what? I love the two boys that made a difference to both of our teams at the weekend. McGregor's come in, and McGinn, for me, two of them, I really like them. You talk about McGregor's not been in squads, I know that, but he's used to playing in big games. He plays in big games for Celtic. He plays under pressure every single week where they've got to win. And McGinn, for me, is one of the top prospects in Scottish football for a long time.
Well,
that's what I would play for with Gordon Strachan.
Yeah.
No, I agree with. We talked about it last night. I went Fletcher. I like Morrison. I think Gordon likes Morrison. He was his first choice.
I don't think he's been. Has he been playing regular?
I think he has. I think he got injured in the first. Was it 15 minutes of the last game?
Yeah.
You know, and I always think he's a big player. He's good going forward, and he commits people with Fletcher. And I think the big debate is: does Gordon throw one of the young guys in? Does he think it's the time? You know, because he's obviously watched how they play. You know, they're not going to come at us with floods of attack. You know, they're going to when they get possession, they're going to hit us in the break. So I think we'll have a lot of possession. And I personally think the boy McGinn, who goes at people, commits people into tackles, run about the 18-yard line, and we'll saw at the weekend he can score goals as well.
Here's a strange thing. I don't think we'll have as much possession as you think.
Well, I think that's the way Gordon wants to play the game. The same as Brendan Rodgers. They want to control the game with possession. And we try and do it lots of times. OK, it doesn't work a lot, obviously, better than other teams. But I think when we do it and it works, you know, and we're patient, this team will just get behind the ball. That's why I think we've got to play players that can open them up.
Aye. I think we've got to go with the same mindset as that Lithuania. I keep going back to the Lithuania game. I know people will say it's only Lithuania. It's away from home. I thought the mindset of the team that night, well, they were direct, and what I think Ruffy's getting it is your midfielders. See when you've got Matty Phillips or James Forrest and that in the wide area, they're crossing balls in. You don't only want to see Lee Griffiths. You want to see at least a couple of midfielders getting in there or run about the edge of the box. Because goal scoring midfielders, and McGinn get 2 at the weekend. McGregor for me is one of the most improved boys about. I like him. I'm surprised he's not been in squads. I don't know why. Gordon will obviously get his reasons behind that, but we need runners for midfield, because I do think they might come back and sit a bit, so need to stretch him a wee bit.
I'm going to get your thoughts on whether you think you'll throw him in at some point, and we'll hear from Gordon Strachan as well after the break. I seem to remember I think it was Roger Osborne is the guy who scored for Southampton. I'll never forget that, Ruffy, because Laurie McMenemy guided them to the FA Cup win over Manchester United.
I just remember the big Scottish boy Steele, who came for Dundee.
Yeah.
He played at the back for them that day, I think.
Yeah, no point talking to
No,
Barry
I wasn't
about it.
born
He was not born. That's just a complete downer for me, and you, Ruffy, on that one. You mentioned there, and of course, you know, possible lineups, probable lineups, actual lineup by the time we get to tomorrow. My only thought on this, and dismissing what we were talking about with the likes of John Rankin yesterday on the programme and trying to second guess his mindset, is I've said Gordon, rightly so, is a tremendously loyal manager to players who've been there with him before in the trenches, and he also, as well as loyalty, looks for players of experience. So I agree with you. I think Fletcher's an absolute stick-on. It's when you listen to him, when you listen to those little snippets of Bannon played really well, you know, the Morrisons, the Snodgrasses, the MacArthurs, all those guys, you know, he knows, you know what it's like. You've got managers who trust what you do.
You can see he trusts Morrison's, MacArthur's, Barry Bannon when they've come in. So I do think he will go with tried and trusted, but I'm just
Would you throw McGregor in, you know, on the basis that it's, and I'm not dismissing it, I mean, if he plays, it'll be against what I think is the normal grain for the Scotland manager. But would you have an argument to throw him in, even though he's not been in any Scotland lineup for such a huge game?
Well,
is it the element of surprise?
I think he's very similar to. I think he's a better footballer than Stuart Armstrong. I think Stuart Armstrong's a better athlete. But the thing is, they get goals, both of them. I know Armstrong's out, obviously, through injury. Callum McGregor scores goals. And he's a very good football player, and he's improved so much for me over the past season. Certainly since Brendan Rodgers come in, he's certainly improved. And then, as Ruffy says, McGinn, he excites me every time I watch him. And not many players go to Parkhead for midfield and score 2 goals, I can tell you that.
Yeah. And with that in mind, who do you think is the key player? You know, we've all talked about the lineup. Who do you think is the key player that can win it for us?
Lee Griffiths. For me, he's an out-and-out goal scorer. I just like, in the last third, he's got one thing in his mind, and that's to have a pop at goal or get in a position to get a pop and goal. Dangerous, movement's really good, and again, he's improved something awful over the past 18 months.
Has he surprised you?
No, I always liked him. When I seen him, I thought there was always something in there, but certainly since Brendan Rodgers, you can see he's clearly worked on his game. He's had to, because obviously they've got them belly, Celtic, so he's fighting for his place now. But for me, he's improved, and he's Scotland's only natural goal scorer.
Gordon Strachan was glowing in his praise of the striker today.
The guy that played against Croatia up front when we won nothing, a fantastic result 4 years ago, something like that. Completely different person. Knows the game far better, fitter, stronger. He's just become an all-round better player. That's all down to him, because I think a couple of years ago he might have been going to Hibs on loan, and he's at this moment he's #1 pick for the national side, and he's done that all himself.
Yeah, I mean, Ruffy, his game's changed. Is it sometimes lazy for people to say, oh, he can't hold up the ball, he doesn't do that, that's not part of his game? Because I've seen him bring other players into the game now. I think he's worked hard in all areas. I mean, even a ball over his shoulder, which is difficult to take, his first touch is immaculate at times.
Yeah, no, I think Gordon touched on it there. He has improved from a couple of years ago. He can hold the ball up, and for me, his biggest asset, he makes runs if centre halves don't like. You know, and centre halves look at each other and go, well, who's picking him up?
He takes him into places he don't want to go.
They don't want to go into the wide areas, but if he's doing that, as Barry just touched on it earlier, we need midfielders who are prepared to just push that wee bit forward to go into the gaps that he's creating. Because for me, the two people that excite me are the guys at the wide, Phillips and Forrest. If you can get them on the ball and they're on their game and they're going by people and putting quality balls into the box, Griffiths might not get them all, but if the defenders are defending, you know, there's balls going to be coming out, you know, 18 yards, 20 yards. That's when you need second ball, midfielders who are at the edge of the box, who can have that quality shot. We saw I think the goal we got was it Matt Ritchie against, was it Poland? Somebody in these kind of games, and Barry will tell you, somebody's got to do something special. So it's got to be a special goal. It's got to be something out of the world to win some of these games, and that's sometimes what you need somebody to come up with.
Yeah, and in these games, do we just need to show a little patience? Do we need to? I mean, I think Slovakia. You remember, this is a team that gave us a doing, 3-0, albeit our defence was so bad at the time. It was woeful, the performance. We've come on leaps and bounds, but the Slovakians, quite confident they can come here and get the draw. They've got technically good players.
Yeah, listen, they have got good players, there's no doubt. But so have we. People tend to forget that. I think we've got really good players. I don't fear them. I know we're missing, as I keep mentioning, people keep going on about Brown and Armstrong. Right, they are good players for Scotland, but we've still got good enough players in that squad. But be respectful of them. They're a good team. But once you get in that park, that crowd behind you, I can only see one thing happening. Because the guys must know what they've got to do. They've got to go out there and win a game of football and then think about Sunday. Just go out and win and get in about them, make it horrible for them, uncomfortable, because these guys like to have a bit of time on the ball, and technically these guys are good, but go and get in their faces and make it uncomfy for them.
Yeah, and I've got to ask you, you know, if we could get the win tomorrow, however slender, whatever, do you see us going to Slovenia and winning? Yeah?
Yep. If we win tomorrow.
This guy's, we need to get him in every day, Rob. He's putting me on a high.
It's no, I'll be honest, it's watching the team since the England game. That England game at Hampden, that's where we've went up a level. And you could see that clearly in the Lithuania game. The Malta game, listen, it wasn't a great performance, but it was a professional performance. But you can tell the guys are confident. Their confidence is sky high. And it helps when quite a lot of them are coming for teams who are doing well, are winning games. You know what I mean? Winning breeds confidence.
Yeah. See, that's why I think Gordon's selection will be based on that, because he said it on numerous occasions. I like when I don't know what day they met up, say it was Sunday. I like when they all meet up on Sunday, and I could see the ones with their chests all pumped out because they're at the pinnacle of their game. They're all oozing their confidence for the weekend. The teams that they're playing with are winning well, and they're going into the games, are going into training with their heads up and everything. And I think that's what influences him in his team selection. And I think, and he's also said a lot, when you're training for 4 or 5 days, you can see the guys that are training in the wee sessions that they're doing, the guys that are absolutely buzzing. And that, I think that's what will be at the back of his mind when he makes the final decision in a couple of players that we don't really know whether they're going to play or not.
Yeah, here's the fixtures for, the next game is Scotland-Slovakia tomorrow. England-Slovenia. It would be great if England could, give Slovenia a hammering and just dent their confidence. Malta-Lithuania. And then, of course, on the Sunday, Slovenia against Scotland is when we have no nails left. It's as simple as that. It's at the edge of the cliff, win or bust, if we can do the job tomorrow night. And of course, Slovakia will win against Malta. Lithuania, England really won't have anything to alter our destiny. It's in our own hands. Here's the table, and as you can see, we would go to 11 points, the same as Slovenia, providing, of course, England win against Slovenia. And would you believe it, Ruffy? I've even read a tabloid this morning that said second place might not be enough, which should be...
Well, there are two groups. We looked at the groups a couple of weeks ago. There are a couple of groups who don't have a lot of points. I think it's Serbia's group. I think they've all got to play each other, so they could be cutting each other up. But let's just win the two games, and then worry about that.
Yeah, and some players have said, like Gordon Strachan, to stay. If he doesn't win these games, I think Gordon will say enough's enough.
I think he will. That's no saying. Who do you bring in? I like him. I do like him. You can clearly say that the players enjoy playing under him. And he's, again, fair play to him. At the start of the campaign, I was thinking to myself, these guys they've gone a wee bit.
Yeah.
He's brought them back. Confidence is, as I said, sky high. And I would like to see him stay, but I think if they don't win any of these two games, I think he'll just say enough is enough.
Yeah, it'd be a shame because I know how passionate he is about being the manager of the country. It means a lot to him, and I agree with Barry. I think we're a better side than what we were when he went in. But again, it's his decision. It's always been his decision. Even when he walked away from Celtic, it was his decision. So this one will be his. I would rather it was his decision than people starting to say, right, I don't think you should stay and all that, carry on. So
yeah,
I really do hope it's him that makes his mind up.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Ruffy. The last thing you want is that, our usual hatchet job on somebody when it's all going pear-shaped. We'll find out tomorrow, fingers crossed. I'm going to get a definitive prediction off Barry and also Ruffy for the game tomorrow. We're going to talk about Scotland's under-21s and the vacant Kilmarnock and Falkirk jobs. I'm sorry, baggy trousers, Ruffy. And of course, Trevor Brooking for West Ham. When you're a boy and you collect sticker albums, Ruffy, you just don't make mistakes like that when it hits the 80s, You should know that by now. From the main squad for Scotland, let's talk quickly about the under-21. Scott Gemmell, good opening win against the Netherlands. Suddenly it's England at the Riverside Stadium.
Yeah, obviously the result against Holland's given England something to think about, but I think England will be better than them. Obviously they're the champions. They've got quality players in there, although a lot of them not playing first team football, but they're still quality players. But it'd be good if Scott could get in there and get some kind of result. I think your under-21 team need to get to the final competitions, just experience what it's like, and I think we're getting year on year, we're nearly getting there, and this could be a big year for the under-21s.
Yeah, I think, Barry, we've got good players coming through. I mean, everything goes in cycles. Unfortunately, we've had the longest cycle ever since 1998, but the under-21s is where you hope some people, grasp the nettle and move on to the national side. I think we've got good players. I mean, Oliver Burke's a good player. He's playing, he's a big move to West Brom from RB Leipzig. You've got Chris Cadden in there as well.
Yep, no, but we have, those two players you mentioned there, I've seen Chris Cadden a few times this year. He's one that I think I'll be lucky if Motherwell can keep a hold of him in January. If no, I think he'll be away next summer. But certainly, we're not producing enough going into the full squad, but we certainly have got good ones. But it starts at a young age. It starts at the pro youth system, and that's where I think it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I think these boys need to get in. I think we need to get in. I think I've heard Malky talk about it, about reserve leagues or whatever, bringing that back. That makes them become a man quicker and learn the game a lot quicker when you're playing against men. But no, we certainly have got some good ones.
Do you think that the other critical part, and this is something that I'm keeping a close eye on this season, do you think the other critical part, and you're a perfect example, is that young players, even with potential, need to be playing first team football at a good level? They need to be picked to play for their teams. I think we lost 2 or 3 generations, because big clubs were picking foreign players and there was no chance for the youngsters to get in.
Yep. Well, I had that, but obviously Dick Advocate came in. He could have just said, right, you know what? He made a decision when I was only 19, just turned 19, to build the team. I was lucky. I don't know whether he liked me or no, but the thing that annoys me, we have got good players. It's just believing in these young boys and giving them the chance to go and showcase their talents in the first team. But I do believe we have got the talent. There's no doubt in my mind. I go to quite a lot of these 20 games, and I do see good young players, but it's at 17 to 20, they kind of get lost in this 20s league. Whatever happens to them, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of good 16, 17-year-olds, and then 2 or 3 years later, you don't hear of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens, so we need to sort that side out.
You played as a youngster, with the first team at times, and you got to train with them as well, when you were at Rangers.
Yep.
And then, of course, I would imagine you got that experience of playing against men in other games.
Well, at 16, I was in training with the first team maybe once a week, twice maximum, and then Walter Smith would pull me out. I would go back to, in the days, it was Reserve League Football and Reserve League West. I don't know if you remember that. And then I'm playing with guys in the reserves who have got the experience of 150, 200 games, but I'm also playing against guys with the same experience. So I'm learning both ways. I'm learning off guys I'm playing with, and also I'm learning off guys who I'm playing against. And that's what I think we miss up here. At under 20s, the pro youth system, these boys at 10 and 11 and 12, at 19 and 20, they're still playing against the same guys when they were playing against that 11 and 12-year-old.
Yeah.
What benefit did they get out of that?
And another thing, and even going back further than Barry, when you played reserve team football, you played in front of a crowd.
That's right.
If you went to Celtic or Rangers or Aberdeen or Hearts, there was a crowd there. I mean, it might only been 500 or 1,000 or something like that, but you're still having to react to a crowd, whereas a lot of the games they play now, they move them to Airdrie's Park and whoever's Park, and there's just the family and friends and all that there. So that's a big part of it as well.
I know it's a tenuous link, but I'm making the jump from that to someone who's playing at the moment in front of sparse crowds and going to play for Rangers in the development squad at the moment, and it's on a parallel with with something that you sampled under Paul Le Guen. Kenny Miller has been completely ostracised. What's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are, obviously, the manager doesn't fancy him, whether he's too big a character to handle. I feel for Kenny. The simple fact is, I know Kenny really well, and I know he wouldn't go in, whatever's said in a dressing room, I know Kenny's not the type to walk out that dressing room and start telling people. I know that he's a loyal guy. I just don't think the manager fancies him. I just think the manager thinks maybe he's too big a character to handle. That, as simple as that. Kenny is outspoken at times, but I don't mind that. That shows me a bit of passion or whatever. But I feel for him. But if he's been put down, well, he has been put down in the 20s. I see he went down to Brentford and played. I know that Kenny's going to go down there and give 100%, and he's going to help the younger boys run about him.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
If you're going to call a meeting after a Celtic game, you're going to get all the players there and you're going to say, right, what's your views? If Kenny has viewed something that the manager doesn't like, and because the manager doesn't like it, he's just given him that, that doesn't say a lot for the manager. If you call a meeting and ask people for their views on the game, people are going to express what they actually feel, and you've got to listen to them and take it in. But he's obviously made his mind up.
See, what I think, Ruff, I think the problem is nowadays, back I mean, it'll be totally different. I know what it's like in Ruffy's days, you know what I mean? And certainly when I was younger, a lot of players had a say. The manager would say, what do you think the problem? Now, it's normal to have a meeting after you get beat on a Saturday and not have a good performance. But the manager would say, right, go and use talk amongst each other. 5 or 6 players would then have a discussion, and then the manager would have the last call, the last chat, or word, or whatever you want to say. I think that's what's maybe happened. Kenny's maybe the only one in that dressing room that's had a view on the performance, and the manager's maybe not taking to it very well.
But
so
again, I mean, I can hear, and I'm looking back and thinking, it's so similar to your situation, because here we are again with a player who is an experienced player with a foreign manager. I personally think he doesn't get it, you know, and I think, you know, this is a game by game with the Rangers fans, you know, looking at it and thinking, is he the real deal? His signings haven't been good enough, and the response has not been good enough. They've got a win over a Hamilton Accies side that, you know, that's not going to be the real barometer of where Rangers are. I just see great similarities with what you experienced with Logan.
Well, the only thing I was guilty is wanting my team to win. That was the only thing I kept inside me for 2 or 3 months, where we were going through a sticky patch and the manager didn't want him to really say anything, and I just let it build up inside me. And after a game up at Inverness, I just said, this is no good enough.
Yeah, but
and
Kenny Miller's facing the same thing. Here's a guy who's...
But I think he's getting tagged with this, that he's a Clive or he's this.
Yeah.
He's not. I'd bet my bottom dollar, and I'm not just sticking up with him because he's an ex-teammate. I just don't think he's that type of guy to say anything. Whatever happens in a dressing room stays in a dressing room. And an odd thing will get out. It's normal to get out.
Yeah.
But Kenny's getting tagged with this. It's Kenny. It's let whatever's happened in the dressing room out. I very much doubt it. Very much doubt it.
It would be a sad end to his career if he's playing with the development squad and it just ends. You know, January suddenly, you know, pushed
but
out
what
the
you will
door.
see, Peter, is you'll see Kenny giving the same sort of effort that he would with the first team. I think that's important, and I know he will do that. And he's obviously an experienced guy. He's a player that these young boys will look up to, and he'll have that in the back of his mind. He'll be disappointed, there's no doubt, but you've got to remain professional, and he's got to go to training, and I'm sure he'll give everything he's got while he's training with the 20s.
I don't think he's, I mean, unless these forums dramatically dropped, there are other players I think should have been taken out before him.
Yeah, I just think it's maybe his character. Honestly, I do. I just think because he's a big character, it might cause an issue. But I would love to have a team full of characters. I don't know about you, Ruffy.
Yeah, they're great. It's not the first time that a manager's identified one player and made an example of him to others. Like, you're not going to mess me about, you know, because look what's happened to him. It's not just Kenny Miller or whoever. It happens at clubs all over. And unfortunately for Kenny, again, I fall into the category. I wouldn't like to see the fans turning on Kenny Miller because of this, because what he's given to Rangers throughout the years has been fantastic. So if he is going to go, again, same as Gordon Strachan, let him go and remember the good times rather than one stupid incident.
Yeah, absolutely. You can give us your view on it at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy as well. We'll be reading out a few of your comments. After the break, we're going to talk about another ex-teammate of Barry's, Lee McCulloch, and the situation he found himself in at Kilmarnock. We'll also look to that vacant job at Falkirk, and we will cast our eye over a disappointing day in Europe for Glasgow City. The girls were in Kazakhstan in very difficult conditions. It didn't quite go according to plan in the first leg. We'll hear from our very own Leanne Crichton giving us her thoughts from Kazakhstan on the defeat. Join us after the break. Did you get that, Ruffy?
It was a guess.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
Listen.
No knowledge at all. Just a guess.
It's fine. Guesses are good. Who cares? As long as you get the point. Okay, 1992 was the answer. Let's talk about two vacancies, Kilmarnock and Falkirk. Falkirk, we reckon, looks as if it's edging ever closer to Paul Hartley, a man you know well because these were teammates at international level and, of course, over and above that. I think, did you not play against each other or with each other at youth level?
Yeah, we started boys club in Hamilton, Mill United.
Yeah.
I played the year above, and that was Paul's team. And we got brought up not even half a mile from each other, so it's always good to see guys who that you know and played with and grew up beside that go on to do well. He had a good career, and I thought it was a bit harsh for him to lose his job at Dundee, but it looks like he's going to get the Falkirk one, which will be a good one for him.
Yeah. Again, I thought he did a good job, you know, at Alloa. I thought, you know, he's this new coach. He embraced lots of different ideas in the training as well, Ruffy. And again, I agree with Barry on this. The Dundee job is one of those ones where you thought he might have got a little bit more time, but in the end, they made the change.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is with Paul, as he falls into the Falkirk philosophy, giving young boys a chance, you know, and Paul's done that. You know, he's picked players for lower divisions and not frightened enough to throw them into the first team. And Falkirk do that on a number of occasions. So yeah, if he was to get it, they have interviewed Jim, haven't they? They've had a chat with Jim Martin as well, but he's obviously maybe have a chat with Kilmarnock as well. So it's two good jobs for the two of them. I think we've said all along we didn't think the two of them would be out of the game for very long, and I think we're going to be right.
Yeah. Okay, this next one's a little bit painful because I don't think Lee McCulloch saw it coming. There is a suggestion that he offered his resignation. Knowing him as I do, I don't see that as I don't think that's the case. But listen, if they say he offered his resignation, fine, but not the guy I know.
No, I find it strange. I'll be honest, I've not spoke to him. I know he's away. He's better. That's the best thing to do, get away for a week or whatever. I know he's away swinging the golf clubs somewhere, so I'll speak to him when he comes back. I found it strange that he would do that. I was gutted for him. Listen, an ex-teammate, a good friend. I've known him for a long, long time. I just didn't see it cut. I thought they would have gave him a bit more time, but we don't know now. The owners came out and said that Lee wanted to go, but I can't see that. I can't see it.
Yeah, the problem for me is I still think they maybe pulled the trigger too quickly on this one. And over and above that, here's a young guy who's gone through his coaching badges, you know, and his confidence will be battered. You know, job number one.
Yeah, he's done all his badges similar to myself. He's done his BA and Pro licence. But listen, he'll be back. He'll take a break, I would imagine, and maybe go in somewhere and coach. I'll be hurting him. Listen, it's natural, but he's too good a coach. I know for a fact that he worked ever so hard behind the scenes. A lot of people don't see that. They just see the results, and sometimes it's the manager that gets it. But listen, the players sometimes have got to take a bit of blame as well. They've not produced in the part for him, because he's got a lot of good players there.
Yeah.
And I thought he made a lot of good signings. So they've not clicked. But we'll just need to see who comes in and takes the job. But I'm sure Lee will be back soon.
Yeah, I thought he was brave enough to take it. You know, he was obviously in the background and enjoying every minute of it. Any time I spoke to any of the Kilmarnock players, they were talking about how good it was, the coaching, him. Yep. You know that he had the liaison with the players, you know, and they got on well out. And then the job came up, and obviously it dragged on a wee bit to see, you know, whether he was going to take it or not, obviously with what was going on behind the scenes. But he took it, and I think he'll be better for it. Like anything, if you go into it and it doesn't work for you, you pick up the good times that you've had and you learn from it. And if he really, really fancies it, I'm sure he'll learn from the experience of the whole situation. Yep,
absolutely. Okay, you still have aspirations to get back in. Even if somebody picked you up as an assistant, you'd consider that?
Yeah. Listen, I've had the opportunity. I've had 3 jobs that I've been asked to go and interview for, but it just wasn't right for me.
Yeah.
You know yourself when it's right. Listen, I love, the thing for me is I like getting my tracksuit on, the boot suit, and go out in the. I wish I could get the boot suit and go out and play tight enough.
Like tomorrow night.
I wish. They're the best days, but no, listen, I still want to coach, but if it's got to be the right job this time. It's got to be the right job.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to hear from Craig Levine shortly, but we're going to turn our attention to the women's game, because there was a big game for Glasgow City in the Champions League against Kazagurt in Kazakhstan, of all places. It was a long journey for the girls. They were missing a key player in Joe Love, and it didn't quite go according to plan. It ended up 3-0 for the Kazakh side, and I caught up with Leanne Crichton earlier on today, just after the match, to get her thoughts on what went wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. We had get in at half time, and the game felt comfortable for us. We were happy with how we had controlled the first half, and they probably hadn't thrown as much at us as what we expected. And the plan was to come out and not concede early, which was exactly what happened. So really disappointed with the goals that we conceded and the timing of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, 1, 2 and 3 in the 10 minutes at the start of the second half is a bitter blow. But from what you've seen of them, is there a chance in the return leg you can mount a fight back?
Yeah, definitely. The pitch over here, it really didn't suit us today. It had rained pretty heavy through the night. The ball just didn't move at all, and we're a team that like to move it in combinations, which we did still create, even although we've conceded the 3. So we're hopeful that next week, once we're back home and we're on a nice surface, that we can move the ball well and create the same chances, and hopefully we'll put some away.
Was the manager Scott Booth an angry man?
No, I think just disappointed. I think we were all a bit shell-shocked that we had been so positive at half time and exactly executed the game plan like we had wanted to do. But we're upbeat. It's a positive camp. We know what we can do. We've certainly seen what they can do. And we'll just put the wheels in motion for next week, and hopefully we can turn the tie around.
Yeah, I know you're not one for making excuses, but how much of a blow was the loss of Joe Love?
Yeah, I think Joe's a massive loss to the team. I think just the experience as well, and I think probably when you go a couple of goals down, Joe's somebody that can always rally the team and give us something positive. So we'll definitely benefit from having her back for the return leg. I know she was really disappointed not to be out here with us, but we've got a strong group of players, and I think next week she'll get the opportunity to show exactly what she's made of.
Yeah, so hopefully we're going to get a big crowd at Petershill. I know you're feeling down at the moment, but certainly is the message that you're not out yet?
No, definitely. I don't think we've ever had a good first tie in Champions League in all the games that I can remember at Glasgow City. So we'll keep that in our minds. We've been in worse situations and come back, so that's what we're going to look to do. We just need to face the 19-hour trip back home. Starting at 10 o'clock tonight. Once we get home, we've got a game on Sunday that will let us kind of get it out of our system. Hopefully we can progress into the Scottish Cup final, and obviously give ourselves a good lift going into the game next week.
Yeah, if you get a chance, get out there to Petershill next Thursday and support Glasgow City. You never know, they could turn it around 3 goals down. Of course, Leanne plays in the midfield, and of course Ruffy works with us at the weekend. She's got a hero. It's not you, certainly not me. It's Stoke the ball next to you there, isn't it? Hero and Barry Ferguson, you know. I mean, it's unbelievable. That's what happens, you know. Yeah. Midfielders stick to midfielders. Okay, that's put us all on a downer again. Let's move on to one thing that we're just going to finish on. Craig Levine's been talking, and again emphasising the fact that they had a disappointing loss to Dundee at the weekend, but the Hearts manager saying he can't wait to get back to Tynecastle.
It is more difficult when you're away from home. That's been proven by the facts. And Tynecastle is a special place, and it gives us a big confidence boost when we play at home. So not having that is slightly more difficult for the players. But we just need to keep plugging away and working hard, taking our opportunities possibly, and not giving away silly goals.
I think they'll be flying when they get back to Tynecastle. I think it's just going to ignite the season.
Yeah, but I think obviously the downside of that as well, it's going to ignite everybody who goes there, because it's a great stadium to play in, and if it's even better, then they'll be looking forward to their 8 games at home.
Okay, listen, briefly, give me the scoreline for tomorrow night, Barry Ferguson.
We'll win by a goal, 1-0, 2-1.
Okay, Ruffy?
Well, it was 2-1 last night, so I'll stick to 2-1.
Okay, I couldn't care as long as we win. Just anything. If it's a nail, it's going to be a nail biter. Spare a thought. Barry gets to go with all his mates to the game. Unfortunately, I've got to sit next to Ruffy, moaning his way through every pass in the game. Let's hope Gordon's boys do it. From Barry, Ruffy, and myself. Good night.